If you have been stuck, if you are currently stuck, if you have rebounded, or if you also just are about to start a fitness journey and want to make sure that you never hit a wall, then this video is for you. Today I'm gonna narrow down hundreds of coaching calls that I've had since the beginning of the year 2026, and pretty much me going through all kinds of case studies and helping people solve. And I'm gonna give you all of the problems that I've heard the most repeatedly and the solutions that I have. The biggest struggle that people in China here have whenever it comes to weight loss and health and longevity is the fact of not being able to see results when they are in the beginning stage, or not being able to sustain their results after being able to create a little bit of progression and seeing the weight go down on the scale, or also the simple fact of pretty much being stuck in a plateau and not seeing result at all, no matter what they do after a certain period of time, seeing the results. And the excuse that people have whenever they reach those points or whenever they hit those walls is the fact that food in China is different, food in China is fattening, resources in China are different from in the Western world, or I'm busy, or I'm old, my metabolism and hormones are broken. And I've been coaching now a bunch of expats from all over China, as well as a few from all around the world since officially 2020, I believe. And the real excuse that we have always had to talk about whenever they struggle to see results on their journey was everything else apart from the life that they live in China or the freaking biological age that they have. The very first and also the most overlooked reason why people do not lose weight, it's the fact that they overeat healthy. You know, someone wants to start a weight loss journey, and so they think to themselves, hey, I need to start eating more avocado, I need to cook with olive oil, I need to eat more chicken breast, I need to eat more rice, more broccoli, I need to eat lots of fruits and lots of eggs and lots of very good nutrients on a day-to-day basis. And the intention is there in itself, and the fact of eating all of that food is definitely gonna make you feel good, it's definitely gonna make you become a healthier version of yourself. But the thing whenever it comes to weight loss is that weight loss doesn't really care what you eat. Like, if we really are going to break it down in and explain it and to put it in the most simplest way, weight loss only care about how much you eat. All right, meaning that you could be eating like lots of healthy food, but if lots of healthy food goes above what your body naturally is made to process, then eating healthy can make you gain weight. And this is a mistake that I've seen quite many times, because one thing I do inside my online coaching program is I always go through my clients 1 week of diet before we start anything, before I tell them to change, to modify, to adjust anything, and before I give them any sort of plans, either that is nutrition or training. I just want to see where they start with. And so I always, very often, not always, but very often, have clients coming to me saying, hey, I've been eating healthy, but I'm not exactly sure what the hell is going on. And so I look at the diet and I indeed see lots of healthy foods, lots of very nutritious foods, but the problem is that they pretty much just eyeball the portion. And when I tell them to track their calories more closely, we realize that they are either very close to being at maintenance or also sometimes in a slight surplus. And so it's really the biggest and also the most simplest but most neglected and overlooked unlock for you if you are the type 2 currently now being stuck on your weight loss journey, or if you are not sure what levers to pull in order for you to go to see a breakthrough on the weight scale. Healthy food, by the way, has lots of calories. Salmon, steak, those kinds of things, avocado, eggs, they are super healthy and they are superfood, but they have lots of calories. So one thing that you can do if you also have the same problem is you need to learn the skill of tracking food. And you know, this is also a quite sensitive topic, because whenever I speak about tracking and weighing and food and counting calories to my clients, they kind of freak out. Because like, I don't want to be obsessed with calories because of pretty much just a certain fear. It's like people make it out to be this very huge, big commitment that you take inside your nutrition journey, but it's literally as simple as looking at what you currently eat, grabbing your phone real quick, opening up an app, taking 10 seconds to look to search for that food through the app, and you get an idea of the calories that you are consuming. I think two reasons why people are scared of calorie counting. The first reason is the fact that there is indeed a little bit of that not so healthy and not so a little bit of that disordered relationship with food, which, by the way, if you know that you have a history of those kinds of things, then do not touch any sort of calorie counting with food. And the second reason is because people are actually scared of realizing how much they realistically eat. Which, if it's your case, then if you are kind of scared of what you're eating, then that might be a sign that you should actually really look at what you're eating so you can make the modification. Okay, so bottom line summary for the problem slash solution slash hack number one is pay attention to the calories that you get even while eating healthy. Whenever I put a client on a nutrition plan, I don't just give them mindless instructions like, hey, it's chicken, because eat chicken in my mind, it might be eat 200 grams of chicken, this exact portion. Eat chicken in their mind, because they are so motivated, they might think it's a shitload of chicken that they're gonna have to shut down their throat, and that's not gonna make them lose weight. Okay, so assess the real quantity of food that you consume whenever you are supposedly eating healthy, because usually that is the main thing that makes you stuck. Which brings us to the second point. Looking through my notes real quick. Liquid calories. Liquid calories might be one of the silent disruptor of a weight loss journey after calories coming from healthy food, because they're super sneaky. You know, like in this cup, for example, like I have tea right now in my cup, but this cup could have also been a cup of latte, maybe coffee up until here, and then milk between here and here, which is tiny when you really think about it. But the way that this can slowly turn into this as you consume more and more coffee throughout the day is not something that you should neglect, because sometimes the devil hides in the small bites of liquids and creamers that you have throughout the day without necessarily realizing it. The healthy smoothie that you drink and that you prepare every morning, in which you blend the entire freaking world, in which you blend avocado, spinach, eggs, banana, cockroaches, orange, watermelon, noodles. We know someone who overdoes healthy blends. Okay, we all know that person. They mix everything in that smoothie, which again is a good intention in itself, but calories. The same way I was speaking about calories in healthy food earlier, the amount of calories that you're able to actually blend in one serving can also be really, really huge. And so that can have that impact of directly adding calories that you don't necessarily want. Juice, fruit juices, what else? Milkshakes, what else? Sodas, and don't even get me started on alcohol. Alcohol at night, that's the habit of many people, but they don't realize that even a little sip of wine, little sips of whiskey to help them sleep. By the way, alcohol at night don't help you sleep better, people, okay? Let me say it. Since nobody wants to address the elephant in the room, alcohol does not help stress come down after a long day. Alcohol does not increase the quality of your sleep. Alcohol just makes your brain more tired, but as your brain gets tired, your body perceives that threat, that walk, and that slowly slides inside your body, and what your body does as a reaction to that is it pretty much gets busy. It gets busy. It forgets about resting. It forgets about burning calories. It forgets about making your digestion work. It forgets about everything. It is gonna call all the small soldiers that it has inside its body, and he's gonna say, hey guys, we gotta get rid of this shit because Marcus wanted to act smart again tonight. That's pretty much what your body does when alcohol penetrates your body. That didn't sound right, but anyway. So alcohol is that thing that people hope to make them relax, but in reality, it makes you tired, but it alerts your body, okay? And it makes your body way much more stressed, which as a result, stops you from getting restful sleep. So You know, look at the liquids that you consume, okay? Get in the habit of, even if it is a bottle of so-said healthy juice or healthy blend that is supposed to be drinkable, get in the habit of looking in the back and looking at the nutritional fact, because sometimes the nutrition fact on that healthy bottle of whatever oat milk or whatever meal replacement shake that you eat and that you drink, sorry, is usually what is stopping you from losing weight. Because again, despite the fact that some things might be healthier than others, the calories from those drinks are also very sneaky and easy to consume, because it takes 1 second to literally drink. I mean, not 1 second. It takes 5 seconds to finish an entire cup of water. That's how quick and how easy it is for you to overconsume calories if you blend a bunch of bullshit in this cup. So pay attention to the liquids. And speaking about the liquids, you got the sauces too. Okay, like if you're the type to add, ketchup, mayonnaise, if you're the type to use peanut butter on your bread, if you're the type to use, spread, like look at the small details in terms of liquids too. Let's look at the oils, the vinegars. Let's look at whatever small tiny piece of things you add into your meals. Those, whenever, and I'm saying this from experience, whenever I tell a client, hey, this is actually a big rule that I have for my clients whenever it comes to their nutrition. Before it goes in the mouth, it goes in the phone. That's pretty much a big rule that we have. Anything that is about to do this, that is about to come down here, that is about to be consumed, drank, tasted, sipped, they have to write it down. Anything that is just a little bit of an addition, they have to write it down, right? It has to be so precise. And once you do this, by the way, it will be the other unlock for you, because it will make you realize how much more small extra calories you consume just by paying attention to the small things that come in your diet in the form of liquids. Okay, so second thing that you need to pay attention to that really keeps you stuck is the liquid calories. First thing was trying to overeat healthy. I've never seen someone who got genuinely stuck on their weight loss goals because food in China is fattening and that food in China is made a different way, or that it's hard to, find imported products here. Okay, it's hard to find imported products here, but I mean, no shit, because you're not outside of China anymore. Like, you're in China. So adapt, get creative, and work with what you have, because I find it interesting. I understand, but also find it a little bit too extra to say that it's hard to be healthy in China, knowing good and well that China is not even in the countries that have the highest rate of obesity. Like, if you walk outside, you could just see that. Like, I don't know which part of the country you live, but whenever I go outside, I hardly see people who are around. Most of the people that I see are actually super skinny to the point of being a little bit scary, and we know which gender I refer to the most here. But anyway, so China is a country in which not everybody is fat, so that should make you think and believe in the fact that it's not the food here the problem. It's you, okay? Like, let's be realistic. What I think can be a very good reason connected to China that has gotten you to gain weight and to pretty much become this unfit person that you're not proud of is the fact that things here are really convenient. I think it's the combination of convenience plus speed of life here. Work all day, come back home, don't want to have to think of cooking, so open up your phone, Meituan real quick, and of course, whenever you go through Meituan, there's always gonna be 70 to 80% more junk, more fast food options than healthy options. And of course, since you are tired, hungry, dehydrated, and stressed, you are not gonna focus on the healthy options. It's that combination of, quickly having access to whatever solutions we're looking for. That's what I think is what gets people to fall off the wagon, mostly during the first few months or during the first few years here. Everything here is so easy, everything here is so stressful, and everything here, there's way much more opportunity and way much more temptation to consume, to give in whatever good things the country has to offer, and to solve our problems with methods and solutions that in result actually don't really serve us that much. Just look at the fact that taking a taxi through Didi, if you go now they have like different price ranges, but if you look at Didi, it's like you could literally get a taxi for less than 10-15 RMB to be able to travel like around 20-30 minutes, like within a distance that is 20 to 30 minutes within you. Like, of course, if you can do that at such a low price, you're definitely gonna hop into a taxi instead of walking. You now can literally have someone, and this is something I do that I really love, by the way. You have someone come to your house to clean everything and to pretty much pay them. How much do I pay for my IE? I pay her 250 to spend 3 hours to pretty much just clean the entire thing in your house while you sit on the couch, don't do anything, and they get it done, as opposed to, and instead of you getting active and doing it. So there are so many ways to replace yourself by ways of making things more convenient for your life in China, that at the same time those ways can serve you and make life feel a bit more easier for you to cope with, quote unquote. But at the same time, they make you become this person who does not take many initiatives anymore. And it's that person who does not take initiatives anymore who at the same time too becomes the person who looks for comforts, reward, dopamine, all kinds of treats in all sorts of way. And so it's this you shifting from a personality of taking initiatives to someone who just relies on literally everything except him or herself, that eventually slowly make you become someone that you're just not happy with, So anyway, I digress, but all I'm trying to say is I've been coaching, and the reason why I'm so intensive and passionate about this is because I've been coaching for such a long time here in China, and I myself, I used to be new here in China, but I never really struggled to find healthy food. I used to be a student on a budget, meaning that I had very limited resources. I also used to be a worker, part-time / full-time worker with still quite a limited budget. And then I went to a level where I was and am in a way much more comfortable and flexible personal financial situation. At each levels of my life, I never really struggled to eat healthy. I never really struggled to work out, to find a gym. I never really struggled to find resources that can serve me on my health. And I'm saying this not to let you know about my current tax bracket, but to let you know that, because that's the biggest excuse of people. Sometimes people say that finding healthy food is expensive. Finding healthy food in China is like this. Finding healthy food in China is like that. Like, eating healthy is expensive. Bro, I used to live on 500 RMB per month during my first few months in China. 500 RMB per month. Okay, we were 3. It was me and 2 other of my cousins. We both had an allowance of 500 RMB, and we had to combine that. And we made it work, bro. We made it work. We went to the convenience store, to the grocery store. Every Sunday, we would prep for the entire week. We had enough food. 500 kwai, 500 RMB. And by the way, I even gained weight. So that tells you, I remember during my second year in China, I did gain weight. I did get a little bit chunky. So that tells you that I actually had way much more to eat than I needed. But anyway, going back to our main topics. Problem number 3 now, the cheat day culture. Okay, you are the type to be super strict and to be super disciplined on your diet. You don't cheat at all. You don't do any sort of extra bites. Like, your meals are super dialed in during the week. But then you're also that type who believes that in order for you to stay sane, and in order for you to kind of shock your metabolism and to keep your metabolism working, you have to shoot 7,000 calories worth of junk food down your throat. Well, guess what that does? 7,000 calories of food is 7,000 calories of food. It is not possible for you to, because here's what happens with a caloric deficit, okay? In order for you to lose 0.5 kilograms of body weight, you're supposed to create a caloric deficit of 3,500 calories. You have the choice on how you want to create that 3,500 calories. Some people will just directly, eliminate 3,500 calories of their day, which might be a whole day of fast. Some people might do 1 meal a day, so probably they might just consume 1,000 calories. Some people just eat a little bit lesser every day, so maybe they create a 200 to 300 caloric deficit every day. So let's suppose that you're that person who takes it easy, okay? You eat 300 calories less than usual from Monday to Friday. That is 5 days. It's a 300 calorie deficit every day times 5 days. You have created a caloric deficit of 1,500 calories so far in the week. Okay, that's your deficit. Then the weekend comes. You think to yourself, hey, let me eat back to normal. So on the weekends, there's not going to be any deficit. You're going back. There's no 300 caloric deficit anymore. And then you get tempted. The devil talks to you. The devil tells you, hey, you earned it. You deserve this. You deserve this treat. Eat that pizza. Eat that burger. Get the extra bite because you need to recharge to be able to fight against your diet next week again. And so, in addition to the fact that you have canceled your 300 caloric deficit, you manage to, you go to whatever kind of Korean barbecue, whatever kind of super fancy restaurant with lots of oily stuff, or just lots of food, and you manage to eat 2,000 calories on top of what you ate on Saturday, and you do the same thing on top of what you ate on Sunday. So over the weekend, you manage to add 4,000 more calories on top of your diet, which of course it literally cancels the 1,500 calories that you have progressively and minimalistically created throughout the week. And people don't realize how real this is. The reason why you lose weight for a certain period of time and then after cheat day you regain lots of weight, and that it feels like you're just a hamster on a wheel, kind of like doing this rat race of trying hard, regaining hard, trying hard again and regaining hard again. It's simply because you lack of structure and control whenever it comes to giving yourself freedom and doing a refeed day. I'm going to teach you today what is the real concept of a cheat meal and how to do it properly. Okay, so the very initial idea of a cheat meal was, bodybuilders used to diet. And when bodybuilders try to diet, when they get super close to a show, they start to feel like shit. At the same time too, there is a lot of metabolism adaptation, meaning that the more you lose weight, the more aggressive you are with your diet, your body is going to look for ways to stop things and to lose less weight. So the strategy that scientists, as well as, again, pro bodybuilders found to avoid any of the mental, physiological, hormonal metabolism side effect from happening is, hey, let's get you back to eating normal calories again. Normal calories, okay? So they eat normal calories again. What happens? The body get all that fuel back in, and then they do that for a few days before going back down into a caloric deficit again. What they do, however, after they finish a whole bodybuilding show, after they have had a very intensive event, is to eat all the way back up, maintenance, and then all the way back up again, because when you are totally depleted, absent of fuel after a bodybuilding show, your body just needs and craves that attention and craves that love. So your body needs it. The difference between you and a bodybuilder is everything. Okay? You are not the type of person who diets super seriously all year round with very specific aesthetic goals. So that's already a first reason why you should not just take the concept of cheat meal and apply that to you, because the cheat meal has been created with the sole intent of being that metabolism, hormonal, and mental relief for bodybuilders who are deep into their lowest stage of caloric deficit and who really have health issue risks if they don't increase their calories back. You're just out there dieting for 1 week, thinking that you're tough and thinking that you deserve a cheat meal and to pretty much eat back everything. The reality is, you could literally sustain a diet for 3 to 6 months. That's what studies say. 3 to 6 months, sustain the same diet at the same caloric deficit without ever changing. You could sustain that, lose weight, and then it's only after that 3 to 6 months mark, no, I'm lying, 12 weeks, 10 to 12 to 18 weeks, anyway, more than 3 months, okay? You have a huge window of being able to go on your deficit for at least 3 months before you can think of or worry about any sort of negative metabolism reaction. So the reality is, cheat meal culture, the way that people apply it, it's totally fucked. Because if you look at the science, you should not need a cheat meal at all unless after a minimum of 3 months. But people, they do it every week. So best believe that the fact of just doing a mini caloric deficit and then doing a big caloric surplus on a week-to-week basis is not going to help you. So pay attention to the cheat meal culture. If you are really the type to look for a cheat meal and to think that you are supposed to have one, which is something that I do promote and that I do recommend for my family people and my social people, whom whenever it's the weekend, they go out with the kids, they go out with their significant others, they go out with the boys, there are going to be extra calories taken in. Okay, so there are many ways that we pretty much address and approach those. The first way is we do what I call a protein fasting. Okay, if you are going to go see your friends in the evening, then I want you to not eat any carbs and not eat any fats at all during the day, but I just want you to eat your proteins and nothing else. Why do we do that? Because still having a good intake of protein during the day already plays a role with making you become less or hungrier when it is going to be the time for you to arrive at that main meal where we know you are going to be eating more of the carbs and more of the fats. So we don't eat any of the carbs and the fats in the morning because we are going to make room for that in the evening, okay? And also we're going to keep eating our proteins for breakfast, we're going to keep eating our proteins for lunch, and then hopefully when the time of the dinner comes, we're going to be less or hungry. And it is going to be a matter of knowing how to contain ourselves, because again, let's be real with each other, we always have the choice between going for the additional bite, going for the seconds, and not going, but very often we go for the seconds. And sometimes, by the way, it's just because of that, just because of the fact that you have starved yourself for the entire day. Like, people think that starving themselves for an entire day is the way to go whenever they have like a big eating or dining event coming soon. But starving yourself is called starving yourself. You're gonna arrive at the big event very hungry, and it's gonna be easy for you to overeat everything, okay? So protein fasting, that's how I usually teach people to approach their weekends whenever they have like something planned. Or also too, if you're hardcore, something else which I do with my most advanced clients is the fact of doing a lower caloric deficit during the week. So going back to the point that I made earlier, which was about you probably create a 300 caloric deficit every day. If I know that my clients have the habit of eating a lot on the weekend, then we try to really balance that out by eliminating and reducing their calories even lower during the week, so that by the end of the week, in addition to the weekend, the calories eaten versus the calories deficit created throughout the week equates, and we don't necessarily get into any sort of step backs. Okay, bringing us now to hack number 4, all right, which is pretty much a bad living environment. And I actually think hack number 4 and number 5 are kind of related. Hack number 4 is living in a bad living environment. Hack number 5 is family and social gathering. A bad living environment, pretty much very easily, is the fact of I could be having juice or some very sugary drink right here next to me, but I'm having tea because tea is what I chose to be in my sight. Okay? That's really all that it takes sometimes. One of the reasons why it becomes so easy for you to make bad choices is because bad choices are everywhere. When you walk in your house and there are like snacks thrown all over the place and no fruits, of course you're gonna be eating the snacks and not the fruits. So an effort that you can make is to work on your environment. Try to clean shit up. When you know that something is unhealthy and that it is not supposed to be in your house, do not have it in your house. Right? I know you spent money. I know you invested in it. If it makes you, if it's so painful to have to get rid of the stuff, donate it to someone else. All right? Donate it to someone who wouldn't give a crap about getting a few additional kg, because that's not your case. Which brings us to the other part of environment, which sometimes, I see this a lot, a client will be very determined, will have all the good intentions in the world to stay strict on their diet, but sometimes it's their significant others that sabotage their journey. I've seen some significant others do it intentionally. There are some really sad stories, by the way. There are really sad situations that I've seen. Like, I've seen situations in which someone will regularly and be actively criticized by the people around them and close to them in their household for trying to be different, for trying to change, for trying to lose weight, because it was creating lots of changes in the house, because the person was now not doing the same thing as everybody else anymore, and that the person was now trying to be a healthy person and trying to go on walks and trying to work out and trying to eat different things. I've seen situations like that. I've seen situations where people had to leave my coaching program because they gave the whole program, the plan that I created, they took that and they gave a look to their close people, the close ones. Then they said, hey, this is a lot of change. I'm not okay with this. Take it back. I've had people leaving my coaching program because of that. I've had people also unintentionally, sometimes too, some intentions of the people around them are not really that bad, but it's like, hey, I just came back from work, I brought you some snacks because I love you. Like, sometimes the love language of some people is really, let me buy you food, let me get you fat. And so you need to look at that around you, because sometimes, like I'm telling you from experience, it's the people that are around you can either break or make your journey, and more often than not, they can break it, mostly if you're not too good at setting boundaries. One thing that I teach my clients is, whenever they are about to start a fitness journey with me, because I've seen it so often. I've seen it so often now that whenever someone joins my coaching program, I tell them, hey, think of 3 to 5 people that are really close to you. Send them this exact message. Hey, I'm about to start this journey with Christian. We're gonna work together for XXX months. We're gonna work on nutrition, etc. I might or might have not told you yet about the goals that I have, and about the struggles that I have, and the pain, and about the issues and insecurities that I have about a certain topic. Frame it as if it's something that you suffer with. If you frame it as it's a goal, surprisingly enough, people get jealous and people might not give you the most genuine answer. Okay? Frame it as if it was something that you suffer with. All right? As you know or might not know, I often speak about this. I struggled with my belly. I couldn't get back to my pre-baby weight anymore. I don't feel comfortable when I lay in bed with my partner, etc. Let them know exactly everything that you suffer with. And this is the time for me to make a change. Some things might change in my habits, but just know that it's because I'm just trying to become a better person and a more present person for you. You let them know that first. You let them know that. You do that so that it's going to impact the collective. It's not just going to impact you, but it's going to impact everybody else. And the next very big important thing is bring them onto your journey. Tell them, I would like you to become a part of my journey as my support and accountability system by doing XXXXX. Of course, I'm not forcing you to exactly do those things. I totally respect your decision, but it will still really mean a lot if you join as this person who does this for me. That's the way to neutralize. No, that's the way first to make them realize that, hey, Laura looks like this very healthy and happy person of me, but actually there are all of those things that she suffers with. Like I never really knew. Like I need to have empathy if I'm really her friend. And this is the thing too, by the way. Whenever you speak about your health goals to someone, no matter how you frame it, at the end of the day, you'll see who is really rooting for you. That's also the thing. No matter how you frame your goals, you'll always eventually see who is really rooting for you when you become that person who goes out with them, and when you are the one who drinks lesser than them, when you are this person who joins the house party and that you're the one who has to go back home earlier. You'll see who is rooting for you. You'll see. I know that because I've seen and I've heard many stories from my clients. Most of my clients who started to make changes in their lifestyle, they've actually lost friends. Some of them just started to hang out less with some friends because they both understood that they did not have the same jam anymore, but they still respected each other a lot. They just knew that they were not, oriented on the same type of jam anymore, and that's fine. But some clients noticed and realized and sensed hostility, criticism, and started to even have conflicts with their friends because of trying to become healthy. Can you imagine, by the way, living in a world where you're just trying to become a healthier version of yourself, and the people who say and who claim to be supporting you actually supported you only when you were a version that fitted them. But now that you are looking to become the version that fits you best, it becomes a problem with them. Now they start to slowly throw shades at you like, I know you're not coming anyway, it's fine, you have your whole healthy thing going on. Oh, hey there, healthy person. Oh no, you're not gonna drink, that's fine, I'm gonna drink it all for myself, it's okay, you're too cool for drinking anyway. It's like you start to see those weird kind of comments that people make. It's crazy. But anyway, so environment, okay? Sort out your environment and sort out your entourage as well. Look at your entourage, or at least set boundaries, or at least let people know what's up, okay? We're almost done. Going now on to problem number 6 and then problem number 7. I'm gonna go through this real quick because these are easy ones. Problem number 6 is you think you're active. You hit the gym 2 to 4 times a week. That's a good start, but you barely walk 4,000 steps a day. Deal breaker. Check out your fitness tracker right now. Look at your average step count for last week. That right there is your answer. That right there, not China, not the supplement that you took, not the Ozempic, not the special treatment that you took, not whatever. That right there is your answer as to why you're stuck, right? Which brings us then to the hack number 7, which is a bit of a complex one, but I've been rambling around here for 40 minutes now. I'm tired, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Gut health, okay? So this is a one that is not spoken about enough, but gut health has so many impact on your body's abilities to lose weight, or your body's likelihood of retaining weight. Because I mean, when we look at it, okay, your gut is where food goes through. Whenever food drops down into your gut, it has different choices. It has the choice of, hey, where am I gonna send this food? Am I gonna burn this food? Am I gonna process this food? Am I just gonna directly let this food rot in here? Am I going to extract the nutrients of this food, or am I not gonna extract anything from this food? Am I going to properly absorb this food, or am I not well equipped enough to actually deal with that food? And this is where we start to speak about, skin issues, bloatings, heaviness, water retention, actual belly fat, diarrhea, constipation. If you're the type to, basically, to make it really short, if you're the type to have lots of, issues with your bowels, like if you don't poop good, healthy, smooth, and hard poop at least once a day, if it is runny, or if it is really rare, or if you're constipated, chances are you have something wrong with your bowel. If on top of that you are the type to easily feel heavy, to easily feel bloated whenever you wake up. If on top of that you feel like you're not someone who is too big or too overweight, but the belly seems like it's coming out for some reason. If on top of that you feel like it is hard for you to lose the smallest bit of weight and way much more easier to gain weight, then something's going on in your gut, and it would be worth looking at. But again, I cannot, maybe that's gonna be a topic of conversation for next time. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you'd like me to go more in details around gut health and pretty much what can you do to optimize your gut health. But I'm pretty much gonna wrap things up here. I hope this was helpful, by the way. And remember, the place you live is not the reason why you became an unhealthy version of yourself. This is not to blame you, but to make you regain power. Because, you know, you cannot just tell yourself, hey, I came to China and then some things, some special stars, some special spirits and energy got me to just have belly, like, after clicking my fingers. It's not the case, okay? It's not. Stop bullshitting yourself. That's the first way to regain power. Stop bullshitting yourself about anything. The way to stop bullshitting yourself is to regain ownership and to pretty much say, it is my fault. You play the role in waking up every morning, walking down the stairs, forgetting something upstairs, walking back up the stairs, realizing that you're out of breath. You play the role in that, okay? And if this hurts, you're welcome, because it is the truth. You play the role in the fact of trying to get dressed in the morning, trying to put on your favorite skirt, your favorite shirt, your favorite dress, your favorite pants, and you realize you have to, you know, force it down the bed just for it to fit. That's not because of the food. The food here, whatever resources you have access to here, might be the trigger. No, might be the bullet. Here's a gun. You load, some bullets are loaded into that gun. Okay? That's the food, that's the lifestyle, that's the access to whatever you think you don't have access to here in China. But what really triggers and what makes this gun blows is your behavior around all of these things. Okay? Whatever you have access to here, whenever you see, whatever you purchase, whenever you use on a day-to-day basis here, is the bullet in the gun. But what really fires the gun and gets you to become this person that you're not happy with anymore is you. It's you coming back home from work, deciding that you deserve an additional piece of cake. It's you at night not sleeping early enough. It's you utilizing the weekend as a way for you to pretty much, you know, get lost, celebrate, party, overcompensate, give yourself comfort. It's you having access to all kinds of food here, by the way, Western, Chinese, whatever. You actually have access to many things, but you making the choice to go for the least healthy ones. Okay? So it actually starts there before we even look to blame time, busyness, parenthood, kids, metabolism, age, blah 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 blah. No, we have to regain power first, and regain power by understanding that everything that we believe in is keeping us stuck might be true, but we still played a role into everything. And that's a very good news. As annoying as everything that I've been saying now might have been for you, if you feel like I'm currently talking to you, as annoying this might have been, it's also a sign that you can still regain power. Okay? So go ahead and regain power. Don't forget to like, don't forget to drop some comments, don't forget to subscribe, and, you know, tune in, because I'm trying to upload as often as possible. And of course, whenever you are ready, you know where to find me to work together for your health goals. Peace.